is the absolute compassion, is indivisibly connect with the realization of emptiness. I mean, with emptiness also, it's important to realize that, because in English, when you use the word the emptiness or voidness is another translation. Some also use the word nothingness, which is even worse. You see, one term is worse than the other. Emptiness and voidness and nothingness leaves really. And in English, it has a very bad connotation when you say emptiness, shunyat, emptiness, voidness, nothingness, because it's not as in English, you know, because in English when you say emptiness, it's always got some kind of a negative connotation of something empty, something not there. That's true, but you see, it can fall into the other extreme of nihilism, of empty. Whereas in the original term, it's called shunyata in Sanskrit, in Tibetan tongba ni, same thing. Tongba is emptiness, ni is itself. That itself is empty, you know. Emptiness is empty of itself. Everything is empty of itself. Itself is empty, inherently empty. So, it's not emptiness is not something that you create. It is how natural state of affairs are, how things really are, how it is. Clear. When you begin to realize how the state of things really are, that's comes the realization of, you know, truth, or realization of understanding comes from that. Wisdom comes from that realization. Then also one realizes one's mind is also empty. So these two, realization of the emptiness of phenomena, emptiness of mind, or emptiness of the ego, and emptiness of the other, you know, brings about the, you see, the birth of the Mahayana, the Bodhisattva vehicle. Where from the state of that realization of shunyata, or from that the absolute compassion of bodhicitta, comes the, you know, a compassion, as you say, the disciplined actions of the bodhicitta, bodhisattvas. Anyway, so then when you go from that, having realized emptiness and everything, then you come to the level of the Tantra. You see? Because you cannot actually realize the principle of Tantra if you do not realize the principle of egolessness and the principle of shunyata, or emptiness. No. Even in Tantra, there are actually 6. Is it come there? Can you continue?
What is Tantra? Tantra is energy, energy that is the heart of things. And the path of Tantra...
What keeps things ticking, kind of thing, you know. The thread of things. Tantra is basically thread. A kind of an appreciation of things. You understand? Appreciation of things. It's like if you have an appreciation of energy, if you know, then you can handle things. Because you have that, you know, that understanding. You know, with energy, generally, it's to do with how you understand it. And how you know, work with energy. You understand?
The path of Tantra is to connect with that energy, that vitality or luminosity. For example, scientists have discovered that when you break down matter, for example the atom, you find energy and light, or luminosity. The path of Tantra is to connect.
In some ways it's very interesting actually. You know? Actually I feel that it's very interesting. On one hand the modern man, or the world, is going very, how do you say, it's in a very critical stage. You know, things are not going so, how do you say, well, it's kind of a bit dark. But on the other hand, there is a kind of an evolution. There's a really evolution on the level of mind. There is really an evolution in that one is beginning to discover, like even without any introduction to Buddhism, one is beginning to discover the tantric principles when you break an atom. Or, you know, you see, actually when you discover things, you begin to discover the truth of things. The sciences, you know, and I think sometimes I feel that the scientists who actually realize that, I don't mean the how do you say, I don't mean the technicians or the technocrats, or how do you say? Because you must differentiate between scientists and the technologists. Huh? Technology. I know. You know what I mean. The scientist is. I'm talking of somebody who has got a greater vision of life, of you know.
Pure science.
Huh?
Pure science. Pure science. Pure scientist.
Yeah. No. What I want to do. What technician.
Technologist.
Technologist. Or no. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Those are the ones who kind of take the knowledge of science and then kind of sometimes misuse them. You know. Put them together. You know what I mean? So I feel sometimes that some of the scientists, you know, who realize this thing have actually quite a high understanding. And I think sometimes when they discover something, I feel there's some change in them also happen. You know? Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that what the scientists realize with, for example, when you break down atoms, there's only energy, there's only light.
In Tantra, the whole question is connecting with that energy of the universe and becoming one. In Tantra, there are 6 levels, or another way of looking, 4 levels of Tantra. There are 3 outer levels and a 4th, or sometimes the 4th is divided into 3, so 6.
You see, you can either divide the Tantra into 4 groups or into 6 groups. The first 3 doesn't change. I mean, in all there are first outer are 3. That's no problem. You understand? But the second level, the inner Tantra, or known as Anuttara Yoga Tantra, that can be either just 1. As a result, the Tantra becomes 4 because 3 outer and 1 Anuttara Yoga Tantra, 4. Or else, according to Nyingma, or according to Dzogchen, it's seen as 3 more. Like the Anuttara Yoga Tantra is Maha Yoga, Anu Yoga, Ati Yoga. So that's making into 6. Do you understand?
So in the first 3 levels, there are what are known as the Kriya, Chiya, and
Kriya. That's I can't read. Kriya, or Upa or Charya. First is Kriya, then it's Upa or Charya. Could you give me a jar? Kriya. First is Kriya, or then the second is known as sometimes Upa or Charya. Then third is Yoga Tantra. Kriya Tantra, Charya or Upa Tantra, and Yoga Tantra. Then the last one, the inner Tantra, known as Anuttara Yoga Tantra.
Here, one sees oneself as impure.
Okay, that's at the first level. At the first level, as a Kriya level, in the Kriya level and the Upa or Chaya level is very much involved with purification. Very much involved with purification. Why? Because as one discovers the energy of the universe, the energy of the deity, the energy of the mandala, one begins to see it so pure. And when you begin to enter into the realm of the mandala, when you be so pure that one begins to see oneself as impure in relation. So one begins to feel one's inferiority complex, so to speak. So therefore one regards the deity who is an embodiment, who is the embodiment of this energy, it's the deity. Is that what is that? Huh? What is that?
I'm not sure. Tea.
Thank you. First you check what is in it. Okay. Anyway, so one begins to discover. So that the relation here is very much, you begin to see the deity, this energy is like a master. One is like a servant. Then one does a lot of purification. So in Kriya Tantra, a lot of purification practices are done. Whereas in Charya or Upa, one kind of realizes, a little bit more familiar, one begins to realize the equalness and begins to regard this, the pure energy or the deity, as a, like, how do you say, like a brother, like a friend. You understand? But yet still there is a lot of purification there. That's why actually a lot of the rituals are connected with Kriya and Chaya, Upa. A lot of the Hindu tantras relate with Kriya Tantra. That's why they're like, for example, there are certain tantras where you don't eat meat, or you cleanse your body many times. It's connected with this one, Kriya. Then comes the level of Yoga Tantra. Yoga means union. Union. Yoga, when you reach the level of yoga, one realizes that actually the deity is oneself. There's no longer any difference. Then one enters into that union. You understand? That's the Yoga Tantra.
At the level of the Yoga Tantra, you relate to energy, and the way to relate is perception. And that is why there's great emphasis on pure perception. Now when you say pure perception, it is not seeing something that is not pure, and you try to fabricate and say, oh, that's pure. Not at all.
It's what the German always uses. It's not trying to make something impure pure. Not trying to whitewash something, or how do you say, cover up something. It's not kind of cover up saying, oh, you've got to have pure perception, Don't have doubts because you've got to have pure perception. It's like, in a sense, that when you really see how things really are in the inherent state, without the confusion, without the complication, when you begin to really see, it is pure. So seeing in the original way, in the primordial way of seeing, is the pure perception. The pure perception is the vehicle. It's like, how do you say, it's the connection, of the direct connection, the communication you have with the purity of the, universe, or with the energy. It's very much, pure perception. So Tantra is very much pure perception. And pure perception comes from actually leaving your mind in a very natural state, like, for example, meditation, leaving,